Hi, I'm Miss Ann from the Maclay Branch Library, and welcome to Let's Explore. Today we are going to make a no-sew fleece hat, just in time for winter. It's going to end up looking just like this. For the no-sew fleece hat, you're going to need 4 things. You're going to need a ruler where you can measure 3 inches. You're going to need some masking tape, some sharp scissors or fabric scissors, and a piece of fleece that is 14 inches by 28 inches. The first thing you want to do is fold your fleece in half from the 28-inch side. And you want to make sure that the right side or the outside is out and the wrong side is on the inside of the fold. It's hard to see with mine because it's black, but it's a little bit gray on the inside and more black on the outside. So you want the outside showing. The first thing you need to do is make sure your fold stays over here on this side. And on the top, you're going to measure 3 inches. I have a ruler here, and we're going to put the 3 inches at the top line of the fabric on the fleece, and we're going to take some masking tape. You need a piece big enough to go across the fabric. Oops. And we're going to place it right along the edge. Oops, mine's up. Had to rip it off. It's not long enough now. Right along the edge right there. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. This is the side that is open. This is the side that is folded. We're going to go 3 inches in from the edge and put another piece of tape this way. That. Now we're going to cut out this square here because we don't need it. So just up against the tape right there. This is why you need sharp scissors. Fleece is hard to cut. There you go. Now, along the top side and the side where we have the 3 inches, we're going to cut strips that are 1/2 inch wide. And a 1/2 inch is about the size of your finger. So we're going to measure about where we're going to do our cut. You're going to move your finger because you don't want to cut your finger. And we're just going to kind of eyeball it. We're just going to make some strips, and you're going to cut all the way up to the edge of that tape. I'm trying to make it as straight as possible, but it's a little hard, and that's okay. These strips are going to become our knots, and that's how we're going to make the hat without sewing. We're going to cut all the way up to the tape. Sticking to my table here. And we're going to cut right up against the tape there as our last strip. And remember, there's a strip under the tape as well. I'm going to turn this around a little bit to make it easy to cut. And we're going to do the same thing. Here's the first strip all the way over to the end. Try and make your strips as even as possible and as straight as possible, but it's okay if it's not. But you want them wide enough almost done. This is probably the longest part of the whole hat, that and the knot tying. One more cut here. There we go. Now, I'm going to turn this back around so that the folded edge is over here. Get all our strips in order. Now, with the fold on this side, we're going to work on this side first, the side opposite the fold. And we are going to go ahead and take the tape away, because once we start knotting the sides, it gets a little wrinkly and the tape gets in the way. We're just going to move it off to the side for a second. Now, we are going to knot the strips. There are two sides. Remember, we folded the fleece over, and when we cut the strips, we cut two at a time. You're going to take those two strips that match each other, and you're going to tie a knot. You're just going to go over and under, and then do it again. Make a knot over and under. And there's your first knot. You can pull it pretty tight, because this is going to be the back side of the hat, and you don't want that cold wind to get on the back of your head. We're going to do that all the way up with all of these strips. This is what takes the longest, I think, next to the cutting, because sometimes it's hard to see where the knots are. But you just go over and under, and then over and under, and this is called a square knot. There's two. 3. Now, see how it's getting a little wrinkly here? But that's okay. It's getting tight, and that's what we want. So we've gotten 3 knots here. We're going to do some more. This is going to take a little bit of time. So go ahead and pause the recording and then start up when you get up near the top. I'll do the same. Okay, I've gotten all but the top few here. So I've got, and see how it's getting really short here, and that's okay. I find it's a little difficult to keep my strip straight, but it's very important that you get the one on the bottom and the one on the top. You don't want to mix the strips up too much. Other than that, just make our knots. Got one more. And then I actually have a strip under the tape. So when I finish this one, we're going to peel back the tape just a little bit so we can get these last 2 pieces, that last strip. I don't want to mix the top strips up though. Okay, so there's the back side of the hat. They're all knots, and it's closing up your hat, so you don't have to sew it. You just have to tie the knots. Now, we're going to do something fun with the top here. I'm going to go ahead and take this tape out of the way. Oops, on my strips. Get my strips all back. Make sure they're all lined up. The very last strip, the 2 sides, you're going to put to the side. We're going to do something fun with those in a second. So you're going to take all of the top strips except that very last set, and you're going to gather them up and make a little pom-pom like that. A little hard to see. So I've gathered all of the pom-poms, and I'm going to take the last 2 strips on the top side, and we're going to use those to tie around. Now this is a little bit more difficult. Nice thing about fleece is it's very strong and you can pull really tight. Let's make another little knot on it. Make sure it stays up. You may need help for this last knot. All right, so there's your tassel at the top of your hat. And here is your hat. Here is the back side with all of the knots, the top with your tassel, and your front. And a lot of people like to make a cuff with their hat when they put it on. So here is our hat, our tassel, the back side. I gave it a little cuff, which just means I rolled up the edge just a little. And there's your no-sew fleece hat. Thank you for watching Let's Explore. See you later. Bye-bye.